street corner to the world stage, hip-hop has grown into one of the world's most prominent musical genres and cultural influences. Right here on the Music Podcast Without a Name, we intend on exploring significant events in not only hip-hop, but music in general and its explosive evolution. Hip-hop is more than music. It's a cultural movement that incorporates different elements of art. Four foundational elements characterize hip-hop culture. The original four main pillars of hip-hop include DJing, MCing or rapping, breakdancing, and visual or graffiti art. These forms of expression have also developed into further subcultures with lasting legacies. As KRS-One once said, rap is something you do, hip-hop is something you live. During the mid-1980s and early 1990s, hip-hop spread across the world in full force. It brought an era that significantly transformed hip-hop culture. This new era became known as the golden age of hip-hop. Many characterize this turning point by its explosion of diversity, influence, stylistic innovation, and mainstream success. Record labels recognized the genre as an emerging trend and invested a lot of money into the movement. Independent record labels like Tommy Boy Records, Prism Records, and Def Jam became successful. They were releasing records at a fast pace in response to the demand generated by local radio stations and club DJs, which has led us to where we are today. The last 50 years has led to the existence of the Music Podcast Without a Name, which is set on creating incredible memories and will introduce you and us to some of the best in the business, as well as some exciting local and international artists. This podcast could never be what it is to become if it did not have my wonderful, brilliant, and beautiful co-host, Z Mazibuwo. Z, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you so much for the intro. Thank you so much for thinking I'm wonderful. Please don't driving me, man. How are you?
No, you definitely are. You definitely are. I mean, we've come, how long has it been now? I think it's almost a year since we've known each other. Just about, maybe. And we have worked well together so far. We have created, I suppose we're just creating a movement, and we have some pretty good memories over the past year or so. So I'm excited about what we are going to have in the coming months and coming years, hopefully.
Yep, definitely. I'm also excited as well, man. I'm pretty amped about everything. I'm looking forward to everything. And yeah, man, let's rock.
All right, cool. So we are talking hip hop, first of all, today. And hip hop in a lot of ways, it incorporates so many different genres. And I don't know, what do you think about where hip hop is today?
Globally or just?
Let's start locally before we go international.
Locally, I personally believe that we're in a good place. I've been saying we're in a good place because a lot has changed from where it was 2014. We're no longer getting the same type of music that we were getting back then, but then we're still getting music, Because 2014, it was trap, but we were also getting raps. It was doing what AmaPiano is doing right now, right? Yeah. It was taking over. Everywhere you went, it was hip-hop. Everywhere you literally went, it was hip-hop, different kind of hip-hop artists. It was just hip-hop. Over the years, that has kind of taken a backseat a bit, but I don't feel like we've lost hip-hop. Because a lot of people keep on saying that hip-hop has died, hip-hop has nowhere to be found. But I don't think that's the case if you're still having new artists coming up, if you're still having Blackie and them performing all over, if you're still having your major Steves, having Nasty C going international, and still giving us another album,
Yeah.
Who are these people? The Major League Boys, much of their transition to another genre, I feel like that hip-hop is what introduced them to the entire world. So I really feel like as hip-hop in the country, we're in a good place.
Yeah, definitely. And I can definitely agree. You look at, actually, what has happened so far, the way I see it, is that AmaPiano has showed just how brilliant hip-hop writers are, hip-hop artists are. with and also how versatile they can be. We talk about guys like Reason, who has changed his name to Sizwe Alekine because of AmaPiano. We have guys like Sir Trill. I believe also started as a hip hop artist, and all these guys, they incorporate the hip hop. They incorporate also the Kwaito part of it, because remember, a lot of hip hop is done in English, especially from guys like Sizwe and them. But now when they do AmaPiano, it's all what's the word? They do it they do it in vernac, which is actually something we've never really heard Reason rap in vernac. It's always been in English, but then now he went into AmaPiano and he is writing in vernac, which is actually quite spectacular when you think about it.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And that's why I'm still saying that everybody who's against Reason taking that route right now, they can call me. I'm ready to fight for Reason, guys. Personally, I'm ready.
We should call Cass. You should call Cass to organize something.
Yeah, like I'm ready to fight all of them. I'll take them down one by one, because these are the same people who never supported Reason as the hardcore rapper that he was.
Yeah.
The same people who never bought an album by Reason. The same people who never streamed Reason's album. The same people who advocate for mental stability and having a support structure and being there for people, but still go online and talk about who's actually listening to Reason, or who are the 5 listeners that Reason has.
Yeah.
So if you're so against him doing that hip hop, then why are you mad at him for going this route? Keeping in mind that he's still rapping there, because when you I've listened to all the songs that Reason is on, even the new one that's about to come, I think it's by Basta, Osmapule. There's a hook on it, but then he still goes and raps. He raps amazing on Ingos. Like, that man speaks on that song, you know? He raps amazing also on Kandashis. And I'm like, this man is literally just rapping fast. Because AmaPiano songs, most of them are just, let's groove, let's vibe.
Yeah.
That's literally what he's doing. He's there, he's rapping fast, and he's moving. And who's this? Big Zulu went and did the same thing. He's been featured in like a couple of AmaPiano songs. Nobody had a problem with that. So why is it that when Reason kind of dabbles in something else, it's a problem? Now it makes you think, do they have a problem with the music that he makes, or do they have a problem with Reason as a person?
I think in a way it has a bit of fear in it, because we, as people, we like to keep things a certain way. Now, when you have rappers who rap the way that they do rap, we know Reason how he used to rap, or how he actually does rap, because it's still in it. The way that he does the way that he does hip hop. Now, when you have guys who move from hip hop and go into AmaPiano, people are now, I think people are now afraid that hip hop is now going to change the sound as well and start to sound more like AmaPiano, which is something that a lot of hip hop heads do not want to hear. They still want to hear the trap, they still want to hear the drill, still want to hear that boom bap. But it's not really going to be taken away if rappers like Reason, they go into AmaPiano. AmaPiano is going to stay AmaPiano. It's never going to become hip hop.
True. Then they must go back and listen to audio high definition then. I guess they still want to hear good rap. They still want to hear Reason rap. They must go back and stream that music, get his money up so that he can see who they still want him to rap. Then he'll go into studio and rap.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you want the old Reason back, go and stream his music, because then he'll be able to see. It's not like when people used to sell CDs, where now you can copy it and listen to it and just speak about it. But now he'll be able to see the numbers, because now we'll be streaming the music. We'll be watching the videos on YouTube. He'll have access to the numbers to see that people still do want him back in hip hop. They still want to see him rapping. So if they want Reason to quit AmaPiano, they should just do that. Just go and listen to his old music. And I promise you, people who are going to go back and listen to that music, a lot of them, they're going to discover a lot of songs that they've never heard before, because
Yes.
the people who talk the most are the people who usually just listen to what is in the mainstream, what there is on TV and what is on radio, but they never really sit down and listen to the albums. And sometimes they just listen to the album once and think that they do not like it. But in order to really fall in love with an album, you have to listen to it over and over and over again. Maybe in the third time, on the third try, you'd have 3 different favorite songs on the album, probably, if you listen to it 3 times. Because every time you're just going to discover new lines that is put on there. You're going to discover new bridges, new breaks, everything. It's just going to be an amazing experience when you listen to it, when you start over again.
True. I think it's also another thing I've noticed with people now.
Yeah.
Especially now since this whole New Music Friday became a thing. People just want to have an opinion.
Yeah.
So they want an album to come out now, for example, at 8 p.m. By 8:30, they want to rate the album. I'm like, but guys, nah, I'm sorry. Maybe it's just me, but I don't get it. Because there are songs that I've heard on first listen, I'm like, not this song.
Yeah.
6 months down the line, I'm like, man, what a barb, Or there are songs I liked the first time. 6 months down the line, I'm like, nah, this is not the one.
Yeah.
So if you're going to have an opinion the first day you listen to it, unless you're listening to it like literally over and over again. Because I remember when Big Zulu came out, I didn't listen to it on the Friday. I listened the Saturday. And when I told that I didn't listen to anything else until Sunday evening, that's literally what happened.
Yeah.
Because I heard one song, I'm like, okay, nice, it vibes. A second one. Then I go back, I'm like, nah, man, the song is beautiful, So the entire weekend, it was easy for me to come back Sunday evening and be like, this album is amazing. Because I literally listened to it from Saturday morning until Sunday evening, over and over again.
Yeah. And I remember we were actually talking about it the weekend that it came out. And we had a similar discussion that we listened to it. I think at the time, I'd listened to it twice already. I don't know how many times you'd listened to it by then, but it was a similar discussion that you can listen to it over and over. I mean, you can repeat the album, and then you discover new songs. You discover that you actually like a different song than before. And I think another problem that we have as hip hop fans is we have this obsession of wanting to declare an album an instant classic. And you cannot declare an album an instant classic. Only time will say that an album is a classic. It's only time that will tell. None of us can be able to do that.
That's the thing. It's what I'm saying. It's the opinions. People always want to say something at the time it happens. At time, let things simmer,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we should just let an album just to sink in. Just allow it to, we should just allow the album to be enjoyed like it should be done. And I think that another thing that I've had trouble with, especially with South African hip hop artists, is that they do not take an album as an album. It's more like a compilation that they put together, and it does not have like a particular theme that goes around it, which is which is very different with Big Zulu. One of the reasons that I do love him is that when you listen to it, it actually follows a certain theme. I mean, it's a lot of tracks. I think it's like 18 tracks, if I'm not mistaken, 18 or 20 tracks. It's a lot, but it follows a certain theme that he has put in there, which is how an album is supposed to sound. Exactly. Every single album is supposed to have like a certain theme and not just be a compilation of songs that you just did recently and you feel that they're good enough to be on an album.
True. And you know what you're saying right now, Anna? A lot of people didn't really know that, because there was a time I was working actually the Saturday and I'm just channel hopping because I didn't know what to watch. And luckily, I think it was MTV Base, if not BET. When I turned there, he was having a music special of the album. He literally performed all the songs on the album. And from the first track to I think track 10, if not 9, you could hear the theme of that. He even said it when he went on to part 2.
Yeah.
Like it literally starts from him, where he grew up, how he went through life and school and dropping out. and when you started to blow up and when you started making money.
Yeah.
It's a story, and when you pay attention, you're like, this is what we want from my album. And I think that's what Who's This Adele was fighting for, and Spotify actually listened. Where when you play an album, you play it from the first track.
Yeah.
The way it came out. That's how you get to understand the album and the feel, instead of playing it on shuffle. And most South African artists, to be quite honest, they give us an album on shuffle.
Yeah, basically. Because also remember when you listen to guys like Kendrick, every time he really thinks his albums through. I remember his second
Butterfly, guys.
Yeah. I remember his second studio album, A Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah.
That album starts with Shireen, with Master Splinter's daughter, Shireen, and it goes all the way to the end. And in between, after each track, or at least most of the tracks, he has this thing where his mom is calling, his mom and dad are calling, and he's pretty much also telling a story throughout the entire album. You get to the final track, and then it starts over. Basically, it starts over because the final track, I forgot what the name of the track is, but it's a recording basically of him just rushing out of the house, telling his mom that he'll be back in like 5 or in 10, 20 minutes or something like that. Yeah. And then that's the end of the album. And then when you start the album over, the first track, it's his mom calling, trying to find out where he is because he said that he'll be back. Yeah, and that's just pretty much the theme of the album. You listen to which was that album with All Right? Trying to remember, and it's strange because I love Kendrick.
Has to fight. What's the album name again?
I'll try to find it. Oh, it's To Pimp a Butterfly. It's To Pimp a Butterfly. Also, at the end, he
a lot
also
of people
says
don't
something.
like the album, eh?
What's that?
A lot of people don't like To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah,
guys, please listen to it.
Like it's a great album. It's an amazing album. Yeah, because at the end of each track, he says something there, but then he doesn't say everything. The next track comes on and he adds on to what he said to the previous track, and so on and so forth. That's just how he plans his albums. He plans his albums out. So it's quite, I don't know. Like I think a lot of South African artists they have a lot of work to do when it comes to planning their albums, to putting an album together. And also another thing, I remember seeing a thread or a conversation on Twitter about artists releasing clean versions of their albums. Now, as much as I love hip hop, I really love it. I'm in love with it. But profanity is something that I hate. You'll never, ever hear me using any word of profanity at any point. And I love listening to songs that do not have the profanity in it. And South African arts, you listen with guys like Dr. Dre, you get guys like Snoop Dogg, all these big artists, big international artists, they tend to release 2 albums, with the explicit version and the clean version. But in South Africa, we never have that. And it's so annoying to me because also even the word, the use of the N-word, for South Africans, it sounds out of place most of the time. And there's artists that use it quite a lot. So it kind of, I don't know, it doesn't sit well. And it's not necessarily that it doesn't sit well with me that they are saying it, but it just doesn't fit in well because it's not part of who we are. It's not part of our everyday language as South Africans. And so I would love to hear more clean versions of albums coming from artists.
Basically, you must just listen to radio because this is the only time they give us a clean song. When they release it as a single, because the radio won't play it if it has profanity. MTV won't play it, So the only time it's clean, it's if they release it as a single. If it's not a single and it's on the album, you're going to get as unclean as it gets, basically.
But then again, with that is that they do not necessarily release the clean version to the public. They basically clean the album, the track, they clean the single and send it to radio, send it to TV for the music videos to TV, and that's pretty much it. They never release the singles to the public for us to get. Like, it's very difficult to find a clean version of a South African artist.
And sometimes even the way they clean it, man, it ends up sounding like an unmastered version. I don't know what happens, but it comes off distorted.
Yeah. I think
copy and paste, cut and paste, it doesn't work most of the time.
Yeah, because I think it's the way that they clean it. And at some radio stations, actually, because when I used to do the hip hop show, I had to get some of the songs myself, and I had to clean a lot of the songs myself. And I use Cubase, and there you just you pretty much cover the part that you want cleaned, and then you just reverse it, and that's pretty much how you do it. And now you have to listen to the entire song and listen to each and every word that is being said there, and then you just reverse those parts, which could be sometimes can be a lot of work, especially when there's a lot of new music that I want to play. But especially because I had this feature, which is a double play. Whenever I listen to an international artist, I would look for a clean version of the album, and most of the time I would find the clean version. So it was easy for me to just get those songs just as they are and put it on air. But with South African artists, it's very, very difficult. I have to clean every song myself.
But you see, there's another gripe I have with South African artists. They don't take their own work seriously, and it becomes difficult for fans to take it seriously. Like, how are you bringing a song to a radio station? Because I think they submit it themselves, you know? You're submitting a song and you know very well, this song has profanity, but then you're still trying to get played, you're still trying to get known. I'm not saying you're not busy, but then you can't be that busy to clean your 3.5 minute song.
I mean, it's your song, it's your music. Like, and even
take yourself seriously first.
First you have to be the one who takes yourself seriously first. And because another thing that I forgot to mention about these clean songs is that it was actually DJs who were talking about this thing. It's DJs in the US. And what they were talking about is the fact that having clean versions available of the songs, it opens up so many more opportunities for your music to be played at public events. Because when you have your music at public events, it's, when there's a public event going on, it's much easier for a DJ to play your song because there's usually other kids there. There's usually kids, very young kids, and there's people who do not like to hear profanity as well. So the whole thing, and these songs would be so beautiful, they'd be so great, but because of the profanity, it stops them from playing them in public. Because remember what happened also with Nadia and Akai. They had that event with...
That's what I was thinking about in the kids. I'm like, not Nadia.
And apparently every other artist that was performing that day, they actually bothered to clean their songs. But she was the only one who didn't do that.
That's what I'm saying. Was she seriously that busy? And she doesn't have to do it for herself. I'm sure she has someone who can do
producers,
this for her. You know very well, Uguti, you're going to perform at a kids' event. You know, this one is not even about a matter of there's adults, they only, and some of them don't like hearing profanity. That's another topic on its own. You're literally going to an event, Yabana, and you're going to play your song that is full of the effort from the beginning to the end. Parents are there with their 4-year-olds, their 10-year-olds, now they have to close their ears because you couldn't act right. Then we must take you serious as an artist. Nah, guys. Like, I have so many gripes with our artists. I'm not gonna, like, so many things don't make sense to me. And then I'm very big on local music in every genre. I like local music. But I feel like if you guys don't take yourself seriously, how are you gonna take you serious? Then when we don't, you come back and complain about how the industry is not open enough, how people aren't supporting you guys enough, people aren't buying your work, people aren't going to events. But now you're not taking yourself serious. Your albums all over the place. You never arrive to gigs on time. That's if you do arrive.
Yeah.
There's so many things that we need to look at. It's so problematic, man.
And you still want to make it on the international stage, at the same time, which is, I mean, imagine now you get booked for a huge event like Coachella or whatever. I mean, and you're not able to make it there on time. It's going to be the first and last time that you ever get booked there.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's going to be the first and last time that you're ever going to get booked there. And I think the only reason that artists actually, when they're booked internationally, they do get there on time is usually because they have nothing else to do. They have nowhere else to go. They're only booked for that show, maybe a few other ones, smaller ones, but they're always going to make it there on time. But generally speaking, with our own promoters or own events, it's just a matter of they hardly get there on time if they do. They hardly have the clean music for day events. So it's just a lot of work that still needs to be done. But also going back to the artists that are trying to make it, was trying to send their music to radio stations. They also have a lot of work to do concerning that. And one issue that I have, one much bigger issue that is besides like the whole clean music and whatnot, high quality music, is the working on visuals. Today, working on visuals for your own music, you don't need a huge production like before in order to shoot a video. Like you can simply take like an iPhone or whatever, high definition camera, and you're able to do like a proper music video. And even if it's not necessarily for TV, but just for your own social media, in order for you to get out there. I mean, today there's TikTok, there's YouTube, there's Twitter, Instagram, all these platforms, they use visuals, even Facebook. They are able to put up your videos on there, and people are able to see them. People are able to know you that way. So it's something I believe that a lot of artists that are really trying to make it, it's something that they really need to do. Like they need to work on their visuals, because I've spoken to guys like I've spoken to Hype, who's from Atlanta, and Asar, who's from Chicago. The reason why I was able to see these guys, and they're still trying to make it. They're still trying to get somewhere with their music. But the reason why I was able to see them is because they had visuals on Twitter. They put up like small music, they had small videos or whatever. And I saw those videos and I loved their music. And I was able to get in touch with them. And luckily they responded to my request to talk to them, and they made it to the show. But for South African artists who are still doing it, trying to do things the old way, they're still trying to create music. They think they need a huge production just to get their music videos on TV, like on Channel O, MTV Base or whatever. They forget about social media. They forget about the power of social media, which is something that they really need to look at.
It's that. Also, another thing is the creative mind behind it.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to hip hop, I don't know what's going on. Because number one, the other grab I have with them, right, is they roll squad deep.
Yeah.
They're rolling squad deep, but then when you look at the roles of the people in the squad, only two of them have roles. One is the booking agent and the other one is the road manager. So what are the other 6 people doing here who we need to get writers for? Because now your writer list is extremely long, but then these people aren't doing anything for you. How about you upskill one of them to become a graphic designer or something, a videographer or whatever, instead of the one day you do decide to shoot a video, you're giving us champagne and hot girls in bikinis. Because personally, I am tired of that concept. Guys, I am tired because most of the time, the song doesn't even go hand in hand with the video.
Yeah.
This man is talking about hardcore gangster-ish, but then the video is Dom Perignon and girls eating sushi. I'm like, guys, make it make sense.
Yeah, and that's where I wanted to go to as well. Because having a music video is not necessarily about having all these girls on there It's not about having the drinks, having I mean, now today they have Hubley and their vape pipes and whatnot. Like in music, you can have like a proper beautiful music video with just you in the shot, just you, nobody else. You can get like a proper location, a nice location, just be there, and it's just you everywhere, like just you in the shot, nobody else. You can have like a proper video. You can have a beautiful video just doing that.
Dude, I can take it back. I'm thinking about another video right now, but I'll get to it. One video that did that so beautifully well. I don't even know how they thought about that. Simple, but then exquisite. I think it's the video to Celeb, if I'm not mistaken, where Casper is just changing snapbacks.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know who thought of this, but this is clean. The whole 3 minutes, it's him changing snapbacks and he's rapping. Like, that's where most people actually learned that Casper can rap, because why? The focus was on him.
Yeah.
So he didn't have a choice but to listen, because there's nothing else. You're just seeing Casper switching snapbacks and he's rapping. Then fast forward a couple of years, Reasons, Cashless Society featuring Ginger Cho. That video is amazing. Black and white shot, and the streets by Mkhukwini, and people protest the song. Look at the visuals, you understand the story behind it. Now imagine you listen to that song and the only thing it's saying is Dales at Sumo popping champagne, but you listen to the song, it's Reasons speaking about a cashless society. And a lot of them don't pay attention to this. Their video is portraying money and wealth, but the song is speaking about the struggles they're facing. I'm like, make it make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't correlate. It doesn't correlate to what they're trying to do.
And it goes back to what we were saying. They don't take themselves seriously. And how we then gonna take them serious. Like I really hate when they get us to this point, because we really, I feel like a lot of us, we really want to support our local artists, but then they don't really give us much to work with.
Yeah, we don't have a lot to work with. Yeah, but anyway, I want us to talk, because here's something that has been eating me up quite a bit, and it's quite interesting. It's this past weekend, the weekend that just came from. Narc and Cass's fight. Now, that was quite interesting. But unfortunately, I actually missed the actual fight. I only caught it like the next morning when I was trying to, I looked it up on YouTube. That's when I actually got the actual fight. But before that, I looked at the list of the performances. And in total, I think they had about 43 performers from Friday at the weigh-in up until Sunday. At the Celeb, what's that? Celeb, what do they call the fight?
Celeb City.
Celeb City, yeah. At the after party or whatever. I think it's the pool party, if I'm not mistaken. That was on Sunday. In total, that like 43 performers. Now on Friday, that's 17. Friday that's 17 performers. On Saturday, that 15. And the 16th being the actual fight, and on Sunday as well, it was 17 performers. Now, before we actually go to the performances, I want us to talk about the fight. I don't know if you actually saw it.
I saw it, but I didn't hear anything because I was out for dinner with my friends. But where we were, they were airing the fight. And personally, I'm happy with the adults.
Yeah.
Knows me, knows I like both of them, but I like the person who doesn't talk much. And in this case, Nak doesn't talk more. We get to have a peaceful rest of the 2022, because if the other guy won, we're going to hear it unfair. But my one thing with the music, guys, I'm sorry. Yes, there's too many artists, guys. Too many artists.
And the thing is, hip hop, Casper is
other events normally they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, and I was saying, with other events, right? They'll have 40 plus DJs and artists and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's different stages. So there's like the reggae stage, there's the Afro soul stage, there's a hip hop stage.
Yeah.
You get to choose to be at that particular moment.
Yeah.
But with Celeb City, it was like one big, you had to listen to DJ Uncle Waffles, Big Zulu, come back, listen to your Raspies, go back and listen to Young Steiner. Then you must still prepare for the fights on Saturday. For me, it would have been a lot, but a lot of people had a good experience. I feel like it's a business of music. People came together for the end goal of building a community, man, because at the end of the day, all these genres need each other, guys. We can't solely survive on, as consumers and as the artists, we can't solely survive on hip-hop, we can't solely survive on a house or AmaPiano, So when we look at the business aspect of it, I like how it all came together, and I'm looking forward to what it's going to do, because I really feel like they're going to take it up a notch. They're going to make it like an annual thing, and I'm in support of it.
Yeah, because with the number of performances there, that was essentially a festival. When you go to a festival, you expect to see at least that number of performances that entire day or that entire weekend. So that was essentially a festival. It wasn't just a fight, which is
Maybe
much. What's that?
It was back to the city, basically.
Yeah, basically it was back to the city, because 43 performers, that is quite a bit, and some of those performers they repeated. I think those that played on Friday also played on Sunday, and others that played on Saturday, they also played on Sunday. So it was a lot more performances than the 43, which is quite a bit. I think it was maybe close to 50 total performances the entire weekend. And because the interesting thing is, we know Casper through hip hop, but he's also switched over to AmaPiano quite a bit. And when you look at the entire list of the performers there, it was a mix of hip hop as well as AmaPiano.
Yeah, it was like everybody was there. So as I'm saying, it was the business of music, man. Everybody came together. Yeah, but also, when you think back, I think this fight, right, did it not initially start as a hip hop thing when you wanted to fight the other guy?
Yeah, it did. Because initially he did want to, he's been wanting to fight AKA for a while.
He's been wanting to fight, basically. He just wants to fight.
Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think you also challenged Prince KB at some point. And I think Prince was going to, when I look at Prince KB, I can see that there's an actual fighter in there. I think he was just going to knock him out. And with Nag disappointed me, man. Like, I thought he was a much better fighter than that. I saw some of the punches that he threw. It was just weird for a guy like him, because he's been working out.
He didn't want to.
Yeah, sort of, because
kept on smiling and looking cute. I mean, my boy, what's your plan? We're here to fight. You need to win this thing.
Yeah, because some of those punches that I saw him throw, they were quite weak, man. They're quite weak. Even his swings, they were pretty weak. I don't know. I expected a lot from Nag, and because I thought the reason why he's been working out also for all these years, I thought he was also using a punching bag in between.
Yes.
But it doesn't look like he has been using a punching bag. It's just been weights.
Just been weights, yeah.
Yeah. So
he wasn't really giving us much.
Yeah, because I expected a lot better. I thought it would be like a clean sweep for him, but the fight was a lot more evenly matched than I expected. So now I just can't wait because apparently there's going to be a rematch. Casper's asked for a rematch, but I don't think there'll be such a big hype.
On what grounds, though?
I know. I mean, I suppose he feels like he should have won the fight, but I think from a marketing perspective, there won't be such a huge hype as this first one again. But I think maybe, and I suspect with Casper being the way that he is, having lost this fight as well, he might be sort of like a celebrity fight organizer. He might just put together a fight between two other artists, which we're going to hear about maybe within the next 12 months. I think I suspect that is what's going to happen, instead of him getting into the ring again.
And the thing is, one thing about Casper, whatever he touches, turns into gold. So this thing here, it might become bigger than it was this past weekend, because I already see a lot of celebrities saying, let's actually make it a thing. I'm seeing a lot of fans and supporters now suggesting people who should fight, putting Big Zulu against DJ Fresh, putting who's Zinhle against, who was it? I forgot who they said Zinhle must fight with, Bonang and someone. I'm like, guys, other people leave them out of this. Hey, I really don't see them. Like, imagine Bonang boxing. Like, put it in your head right now. No.
But who do you think would win between Bonang and Zinhle?
Zinhle.
No. Yeah, I also see that.
Especially if it's a boxing match and it's like rules and things. Zinhle. Yeah. But if it's on the streets,
on the streets, I think Bonang will probably have it. Yeah.
Bonang might take it. One thing about that girl, as money as she is, as gone as she is internationally, one thing about Bonang, inside her, is still that Richard Han from Northwest.
Yeah, because I see Bonang as the kind of person who is always ready to stand her ground. If she sees good to hear, I can actually get something out, she's definitely going to stand her ground.
And it's a good thing, man. I feel like everyone should be like that.
Yeah.
It's not a sense of arrogance or whatever, but it's knowing who you are and just being like, you're not going to mess with me when it comes to this.
Yeah.
And if there's money involved, I mean, these artists are definitely going to come because everybody's trying to make bread,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Another thing I noticed with the performers, I don't know if they actually did perform. I noticed with the performers over the past weekend that Morafe was on the lineup.
They did perform. I saw that performance online, like even on people's snaps. People who were really nostalgia. That's what was happening to a lot of people.
Yeah,
because people did post many of the fights of the performances, but when Morafe performed, people were too done, man. They did perform. It was amazing. I personally would have wished to experience it, but I was all in the way in Joburg.
Yeah,
but they did perform.
Yeah, because I noticed also people are talking about TKZ being there as well, being there performing as well, and I think they performed a bit late, but I don't think I saw them on the list of performers.
The only old school people that I saw was Morafe. I didn't see TKZ. They probably missed it, or they were probably a surprise act.
Yeah,
especially seeing that Kabelo is a fitness fanatic,
Yeah.
So first of all, that they were like a surprise act.
Yeah, and they also had that music video where they were in a boxing ring.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it could have been that, and it could have actually. They should have done like that if they did, like reenact everything. Just to
like
all those feelings,
Yeah, like reenact the entire music video right on there. Because I'm looking on here. I'm trying to remember which song that was, but it was a huge song back then.
What song was it?
It's Jalama Pansula, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Jalama Pansula. Yeah. I mean, it would have been cool. Also having like their roles.
At the end of the fights, if you just get in there and play the song, perform the song. That's gonna work, guys. That's gonna work.
And also, like speaking, as far as, because now we're talking about some of the bigger, some of the older artists. I mean, with TKZ, we could also put them with today's standards. we could also throw them in quite a bit with under the hip hop umbrella, sort of.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the rebirth of hip hop, especially with seeing guys like Maraza dropping an album, this Mashaya Puka announcing an EP, Morafe performed, and Tiki also performed this past weekend.
Yeah. I'm personally, guys, I'm all for the wins in hip hop. Like when there's a win in hip hop, Zandi is at the forefront of it, supporting everything.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, a friend of mine produced one of Mashaya Puka's songs, right?
Yeah.
And I was asking him the other day, I'm like, dude, where is this guy? Because before him and I became friends, I really liked Mashaya Puka, you know?
Yeah.
So the other time I was listening to the song, because on the Abani, I would listen to old music. I don't know why, but I would listen to old music all the time. I jam to old music. So he's like, actually, I produced that song. I thought it was joking, but when I checked, it did. So I've always been asking him, Mutu Group. And I remember asking him, what month is this? This is April. I asked him in end of Feb or early March. I'm like, where's Mashai? And he's like, believe it or not, he actually texted me yesterday saying that he wants to work. I'm like, please, just agree.
Yeah.
You guys might have not ended on a good term. Whatever happened,
just say yes.
Right now, just agree, because I am yearning for Mashai. I really enjoy Mashai's music, guys. Personally, it was a Thursday or Friday, that EP cover. I'm like, Mashai is back, you know. When I'm still paying attention to that, Maraza is also dropping. I'm like, this is what I want. Because I love Maraza, guys. I've loved Maraza since he had dreadlocks. And I know a lot of people remember him with the dreadlocks, but I've always been that fan. So I really enjoyed seeing people taking a break, because I don't want to say they quit, you know?
Yeah.
But when they take a step back a bit and be like, let me realign. Because I feel like that's what Maraza was doing. He disappeared a bit just to work, and he came back, he gave us the album. From the first song, maybe there's a thing about me that I enjoy traditional music more than anything, right? And for me, when a song has that element of tradition, I instantly fall in love with it. Even when I try not to, I instantly do. So from the first song of Lost and Found, I'm like, okay, Maraza's got my attention, you know? Go to the second song, same thing. I'm like, this is what I like. And with Umaraza, he's very versatile. I think maybe that's what I like about him. Umaraza can rap a good 4 minutes straight in Vernac, and the song is a banger. He can rap 4 minutes straight in English, the song is a banger. He can rap on a hardcore beat like Yogwan and come back and rap on a 6, and he's just, you know?
Yeah.
So versatility for me is a big thing. And if you're going to come back to hip hop and be like, I'm back in the game, I'm rebirthing this tradition, this culture, and you're going to give us versatility, I'm here for it.
Yeah, because when you look at guys like Maraza, he is essentially one of the biggest hip hop heads we have in the country, and he just so happens to not just be a hip hop head, but he also happens to be an incredible lyricist. He has a very, very good ear when it comes to music in general. So I'm excited to hear what he's going to give us when he drops that album.
It actually dropped it on Friday.
Did it drop on Friday?
Dropped it on Friday, yeah. And it took a while to load on Spotify, because now I'm not on iTunes. I'm not on Apple Music, right? So I asked one of his friends, I'm like, yo, please tell your boy to drop the album. What's going on? An hour later, he sends me the link to Spotify. And it's there. I was like, this is what I want. So he dropped it on Friday. It's amazing. Lost and Found 2. The first song, I think the first or the second song, it features this amazing vocalist. Let me check her name, but it's amazing.
Because now I have something to listen to tonight.
The first song is Bayete, and it features Lily Faith.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. With me, I'm really big into a traditional element on a song. So by the time it starts, the first knock for me is like, this song has a bit of tradition in it. And one thing about me, I'll be gone at that. So when I heard Bayete, I was like, okay, I'll listen to this album and I'll finish it, you know.
Yeah.
Then the album goes on, it goes to Nkunzmalanga. I'm like, a beautiful song. Then by Lindy, I'm like, nice. Then it gets to Livomile with Loanstar, sorry. I'm like, this song is amazing. Livomile is my jam on that album. I might have more favorites going on, but Livomile is for me. Then the Ziff was there as well. So one thing about this song, now he tapped in the spirituality part of his life.
Yeah.
And the life that's rocking a lot of South Africans right now. It's just like, let's focus on this one here. But yeah, it's an amazing album. You should give it a listen. I truly enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. And it's like not just on me. I've seen a lot of people since Friday.
Yeah.
Even on Instagram and WhatsApp, it's growing on a lot of people. You know, Friday you listen like, okay, it's a cool album, it's nice. Saturday you jam, you're like, okay, this is nice. Today people are like, Maraza, you did something here. This is a masterpiece. And today is a Tuesday, you know?
Yeah.
So it's what we were speaking about earlier. It goes back to that. Give it time to marinate.
Yeah.
Yes, you can say it's a good album at first listen, like, okay, the songs are put together, it's nice, you move. But you're not gonna say it's timeless or it's whatnot and whatnot until you let it marinate. Then you'll be like, okay, this song here.
Yeah, because now I'm also looking at the track list right now, and it's got 16 tracks on there. And I just want to ask you how you feel about such long track lists. Because remember, I started with looking at from last year. It started with Kanye releasing Donda, which had like just over 20 tracks. You had Drake followed by Drake. His album as well had about 21 or 22 tracks. Big Zulu had like 20 tracks on there on his album. Like, how do you feel about such long albums?
I hate it.
Nah.
I hate it because the reason I'm saying this, no, I have an attention span of a 5-year-old, guys.
Yeah.
By the time I get to track 9, I'm zoning out. I am losing track of what I'm listening to. I just zone out. So one thing I've done like, for the longest time,
yeah,
I listen over days, right?
Okay.
So if it's a 14-track album I can do in one listen, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But the minute it starts touching 16, 18, 19, 20, I listen over an album off the first listen. I remember with Any Minute Now, yeah, Casper, right?
Yeah.
It dropped. He had a listening show on Thursday night, I think between 8 and midnight. Then as soon as he was done there, he dropped the album.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, he performed the songs. I enjoyed the performances, right? I'm very big on beats as well, right? And production. So there are few tracks I like simply from the beat. When I listen to the lyrics, I'm like, okay, it's not that great, you know?
Yeah.
But I remember that morning when I woke up, and because I think I passed out around 1 and I woke up by 6, there was people online talking about how good or amazing or trash that album is. I'm like, isn't that thing like 22 songs or 20 songs? A different carton on its own. It's like a long ass song. I'm like, but when do you listen to all of it? And if you did, you can't tell me you listen to it 4 times. Never. Not that. No. You probably passed out at some point, you know? So one thing about me, I give myself my maximum. If it's over 14 tracks, I'm going to listen to it over 2 days. I don't even try the same day. So I listen to the first 9 or the first 10, and I don't have any comments or anything. The next day, I'm like, okay, let's rock. Then I proceed from there.
Yeah, I have the same problem with such long albums. Was most of the time that I actually do have a chance to listen to an album is when I'm driving in the car. Usually when I'm home, I don't generally have enough time to be listening to music. So I'll usually listen in the car. Now, with albums that long, it also takes me 2 or 3 days to actually listen to an entire album. To this day, I still haven't listened to the whole Drake album. I still haven't been able to finish it. But I've been able to finish Donda.
That's me with Donda. I haven't finished Donda to this day.
I've been able to finish Donda. But even with Donda, I think I only picked up maybe two or three songs that I actually do like. I haven't had the chance. I just couldn't go back and listen to it again a second time. But songs that I do love, I did download onto my phone from the streaming platforms that I use with the Big Zulu as well. It took me about 2 or 3 days to listen to the entire album. But also with that, there's a lot of very good music on there. Even though I've only been able to listen to it once, but there's a lot of very, very good songs on there. I cannot say definitely which one that I do love, but I just love a lot of the albums. But in order to say whether or not to say that it is any of those albums are instant classics, I just cannot do that. It's impossible for me to do that.
It goes back to sometime last year, I was listening to Questa's Dakar 2, I think the second disc.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what song I was listening to, and the wordplay on that song, I'm like, how did I not catch this the first 10 times I listened to the song? And I think that's part of the reason why I enjoy certain rappers. Guys, there are songs I listen to this day, that I knew for years, and certain lines literally went over my head. And I come back, I'm like, okay, this is
you
what
have
was
to
saying.
listen again in order to catch.
To understand.
Yeah.
And this is like years later. That's why I can't say it's a masterpiece. It premiered Friday on the 10th or whatever the date was.
Yeah.
And today I'm saying it's a masterpiece. For me, it's like, who are you trying to prove a point to? Because I feel like even the artists themselves, when they listened to it, when they worked on it, they didn't think it was a masterpiece overnight.
Yeah.
When they decided about, okay, this is it, it took a while for them to narrow down those songs and be like, these are the songs that are going to feature in the album. These are the songs that are going to make it a classic. So whenever you get there, be like, yeah, first listen, this is it. It kind of makes me question the judgment a bit.
It is, because now you're able to see between the people who actually love the music and people who actually love the artist. Because people who love the artist are just going to say that it's a great album, even though it's a terrible album. They're going to listen to 2 or 3 songs and just say it's an incredible album without listening to the entire thing. And you mentioned Questa just now, and I was so disappointed by him. By Questa last year with God Guluva. Like, it's a beautiful album, like an incredible album, because that one I listened to maybe 2 or 3 times. And
Questa dropped. Man, he didn't market it album.
Yeah. And that's the disappointment for me, is that it's such a beautiful album. And remember, I was telling you about Fire in the Ghetto, that song was going to be like the biggest song of the year. But because it was not marketed like it should have been, people quickly forgot about the whole thing. They forgot about the album. They didn't even listen to the single properly. But Fire in the Ghetto was meant to be the song that was just tearing it up in 2021. But unfortunately, because of marketing, it just didn't make it.
And Fire in the Ghetto is actually the only song on the album with the video, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think so. I think you might be right. I haven't seen any other visual from any other song.
I really don't get it. That's what I'm saying. These people roll squad deep. What is your squad doing for you? Guys, PR is important.
It's so important. I mean, you listen to
Drake is a big artist, guys. But before the album dropped, he made sure that he's shutting down the entire world.
I mean, people were talking about the album days before with the entire billboard, like using the billboards and all of that. People were talking about the album. I mean, when you think about an artist as big as Drake going out of his way to market his album,
why can't
we do that?
At this point, I feel like even the people that you didn't think would get it are actually getting it. I'm going back to who's this Big Zulu, right?
Yeah.
He's kind of singer right now, Evolve. Remember when I told that I liked it before it even became a single?
Yeah.
Before the song dropped as a single, before the video dropped, Remember at Ricky's memorial by the stadium, he had a conversation with Bonang outside his bus.
Yeah.
And you couldn't hear what they were saying, but Bonang was too gone.
I saw that.
Splashing out of her mind, you know. And he played Ivolovolo throughout the video.
Yeah.
Then when he was posting it on his stories, it's like singing leg that's coming out next. The video is coming out. Right now, Ivolovolo is pushing 1 million views on YouTube. I'm like, because people are going to hear the song, they want to see what is the song about. You know? And I got it, but out of everyone, you wouldn't think that Big Zulu would get the A&R and the PR part of it right.
And that's the thing. I mean, he, even though it was not intentional, but having Bonang there, having that clip with Bonang, it did quite a lot for his album. Besides the fact that people generally love Big Zulu, besides that,
people are crying out here, real tears, dude.
Yeah,
females cry. Like, is there anything in bed? I'm like, guys, like, honestly, you know.
And
but he even did it with Imalening as well. When they went out to Kamai, looking snazzy as hell. They had Inyama before the video dropped, posting the song. It became a vibe. So why can't Orchestra give us that?
And I think it's something
what is this team doing?
It's something that he really needs to work on with his next album whenever it is coming out, because there's quite a lot of work that he needs to do in terms of marketing his album, marketing his work. Because Kwesta is one of the best lyricists we have in the country. He has grown so much from the guy that we heard back then, like in early 2010, 2009 or whatever. Up until now, you look at his growth throughout the years, he's had probably the most significant growth. He said maybe the most significant growth in terms of any other hip-hop artist in the country. And with his music needs that growth. It needs that marketing. I mean, naturally with his growth, his music has grown as well. But he needs that marketing. He needs to be in people's ears all the time, in people's ears and eyes before an album actually drops. And whatever single that he chooses to go with, it's going to be a smash hit, but it just needs that marketing.
Yes. And it's difficult to approach it like that as a fan, because people would think that you're hating, or Wake would think that you're attacking him. And it's difficult, again, to approach it like that if you don't have any experience. You've never worked with anyone. You've never made someone's music known. But then, as a person who's been your supporter since I was in high school, guys, been out of high school for over 10 years, I feel like it says a lot about what I know about you as an artist and what I feel like you can do. I can see your potential. Because I can't approach it like that and be like, yo, but Kester, you're sleeping on yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Then you can turn around and be like, but then where's your track record to show good when you've made a song pop, you know? Not realizing we can actually start with him.
Yeah.
It could put me, it can put you, it can put him on that pedestal that you need and deserve right now. And from then on, it's gone. Like, because you know how Spotify does that music wrap up of your songs or your albums, your podcasts at the end of the year.
End of the year, yeah.
And God Kuluva didn't drop in the first part of the year, right?
Yeah, I think it was early, I think around April, if I'm not mistaken.
Around April, yeah. When my wrap up happened, Krista's eyes, I think if it was number 1, it was number 2 on my wrap up. That's how amazing that song is. I'm like, eyes Kuluma, guys, and he's sleeping on that.
And there's so much.
They could literally be dropping snippets with that lady where he could rap for like 15 seconds and they drop that, you know? Yeah. So many things could be done, but they're not doing them.
Yeah, it really is disappointing with the way that he's gone about it. And also talking about album drops, Gigi Namain also last year, she dropped Mermaids and Stuff. And apparently she's ready to drop a new album.
Yeah, she's ready to drop a new album. And I don't know if you listened to Mermaids and Stuff, but
I did.
She was rapping,
Yeah.
But it wasn't Gigi, the Genesis that we knew before, the hardcore rap. And now when you follow her right now, she's literally going back to that, to what she did on the recent album. She's not necessarily living hip-hop, but she's branching out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard Ifufa featuring King Munada. That's the type that she's writing on right now. The song that she did with AmaPiano, I think it's Mashonisa. That's the vibe she's giving us. So remember that Gigi wa ice cream. Basically, no. I feel like she's just nice. She's trying to eat. Personally, because I like Gigi because I'm a Gigi fan since she was a poet,
Yeah.
And I know as supporters, as fans, we have this entitlement to artists. I remember there's a podcast on some time. They were like, don't you feel like, because I remember I wasn't necessarily against, but I didn't like Questa's song where he was marrying his wife. I forgot the title of the song.
Ketile.
Yes. It took a while to grow on me. Now, as it grew on me is because I was hearing it everywhere.
Yeah.
You know how those songs are, they play Taxi Rain, they play more, they play everywhere. That's how it grew on me. But it wasn't Questa. It wasn't Questa for me. And the question I was asked was, don't you feel like you're entitled to Questa? And I was like, valid. That's a valid question. I really am. And I won't lie, even with Gigi, I am. Because Mermaids and Stuff, it's nice, but it's not Gigi. It's not what I fell in love with.
Yeah.
So it goes back to my bias, basically. So if she says that from what she did on Mermaids and Stuff, she's going to branch out more on this one, I don't think I'd like it much, but I don't want to be negative about it. I'll just wait for it to come out. Because I'm still a Gigi supporter. I still want to see her win. So also the question I have now is, how much music does she have?
Yeah, because the thing is, when I look at Gigi, I think she looks like someone who is constantly in studio. Like she's constantly wanting to record something. So I think even some of the songs that will be on this new album are probably going to be songs that she recorded while she was making Mermaids and Stuff, even before that.
Yeah.
So I think she's the kind of artist who would probably go back to songs that she did before. And remember, I have this song. Let's hear how it fits with this new album, and just try it out and whatnot. I don't think it's all going to be new material.
Yeah, maybe if she doesn't do it as a whole new material, because I feel like right now she's approaching everything as a new person, Yeah. So she's going to approach this album as a new person as well. And from the few singles I've heard, because personally I love Makadzi, I love Wusiswa, but there's something missing on that song. And I feel like if this is the vibe she's going to give us on the entire album, I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. But one thing I'm glad about moving past to Gigi is that a lot of artists are placing us with new music this year, especially hip-hop artists. So I feel like if there's that one disappointing album, I can be like, but Maraza gave us this.
Yeah.
But Shane Eagle gave us this. But Peter Owen Blacklist gave us this, So there's still that thing. It goes, okay, there's this one to fall back on. And it's a good album. So let me listen to that one.
Yeah.
I also support this one because my streams, they play a role, make sure they're successful. So let me listen. And also, because one thing about me, guys, I will support rappers, I will support musicians locally, especially. I will listen to people's music.
Yeah. I feel like this year is going to be like a good year for hip hop. And for people that have been saying that hip hop is on a break, they are going to eat their words this year. Because Shane Eagle dropped something like I think recently, last week, if not the week before or whenever.
Yeah, I think it's the week before, but I haven't listened to it. I read a few reviews about it, and I'm not big on reviews because one thing about me, I always go against the reviews. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but all the time I'm like, okay, guys, what's good about this song? Everybody else loves it. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm the problem. Then the one song they like, I think is bad. I'm like, okay, I'm definitely the problem. So I don't read reviews because of that, you know. But the ones that I came across, it's, you know, when you follow a person on Instagram,
Yeah.
and they were interviewed by a certain publication, then they post their response.
Yeah.
And the other person does that, then you see. But I don't actively go out looking for reviews because they never do anything for me. But I haven't listened to Shane's album. I'd be like, not even one song. I haven't listened to it. Have you listened to it?
Yeah, I have. Because I only listened to it once. I haven't had an opportunity to listen to it again. There's a few songs that I do like. There's one particular song that I'm not such a fan of because on there he was trying to sing, and it's quite slow. I can't remember who he's trying to do it like, but it's just it just doesn't feel right. Yeah, I personally I don't feel like it's working out, especially because it's very slow, and he also used autotune on there. And I don't think that he is really a singer himself, but I think he was just trying something new. I'm not really such a fan of that particular song, but the album itself, I think it's okay. I think it's all right, but I still need to listen to it again so I can say properly that this is what I like and this is what I don't like.
Yeah.
Because I'm also not a review kind of person. I don't usually read reviews or whatever because sometimes you read something. Like the thing about reviews is that it can take away the experience from you if you follow those reviews, because this is just an opinion of one person saying person. Yeah, like even what I just said about Shane Eagle, that is just my opinion, but I'm sure that someone else is going to listen to it and they're going to love the song.
I love it.
Yeah. But reviews are just the opinions of one person, and they also have their own tastes. They also have their own likes and dislikes when it comes to music. So if I'm going to listen to two reviews and then listen to an album based on the reviews, then it's just going to take away the experience from me. I just want to experience an album myself. I want to experience the music myself and say that this is what I love, this is what I do not love. But hopefully, whatever it is that I just give my time to, I'm always hoping that it's something that I love. The entire thing, that I love the entire thing.
Yeah. And going back to the marketing, when did you know that Shane was dropping an album?
I do not know. I only heard from you, actually, that Shane just released an album.
See, I literally saw on the day.
Really?
Literally on the day. I'm like, guys, this can't be. This really can't be. This can't be where we're at. Not when there's so like. Guys, I feel like marketing right now is not as difficult as it used to be. Because before, people had to physically go to radio, you know?
Yeah.
To have a radio tour. Right now, this small thing.
I mean,
that Steve Jobs created. Take your iPhone and just tweet that you're dropping an album on the 18th.
I mean, today
then from there on, follow up, you know?
Yeah, you can even pay influencers to talk about your album, so people know that it's coming. Even though I'm not a fan of using that, taking that route. I'm not a fan of taking that route.
No, I'm a fan of the process.
Yeah.
Right, or the idea behind it. Yes, I'm the fan of the idea, not the process.
Yeah.
Because now, my thing is, trust and believe. There's influencers in literally in every part of entertainment, right?
Yeah.
So I don't see why you should go to, for example, Kukulethu Nyantsumba or whatever and have her promote a Big Zulu album.
And you know that
guys,
now that you mentioned it, I remember at some point I was so disappointed by how industries or how artists or whatever how they use influencers, because when you compare it to how the influencers are used in the US, it's usually influencers who have to do with whatever industry or whatever line that the influencer is in. Today, you just get like one big influencer, and they have other influencers under them, and they just get anyone pretty much. I mean, just imagine. I mean, it's just the example that you made, that someone who would never talk about Big Zulu, who would never, you'd never imagine that they listen to Big Zulu. Probably they always tweet about AmaPiano artists, they tweet about Buma Porisa and whatnot. And then one morning you wake up, and then this person is talking about Big Zulu and how much they love the album, how much they do this, they do that, which is really off-brand. But when you actually have like proper influencers who are into hip hop, you even like talking to guys like Bo Rashid, for instance, just give them a taste of the album, and ask them to please just talk about it on the thing on social media. But the danger about giving it to Rashid is that Rashid will tell you the truth. And if your album sucks, if it's whack, there's no amount of money that you're going to pay him for him to say otherwise. He's just going to tell you the truth. But it's just about getting the right people. Even Hype Magazine does not really release any physical copies anymore, but they're still alive. They're still online. You get people who are behind Hype Magazine, people who work for the album, people who usually talk about hip hop. You don't necessarily need to like get, and now I'm just giving ideas to a lot of artists, but you don't necessarily need to get influencers themselves, but you just need to scout for people who love hip hop on social media, people who tend to talk about hip hop. Even if you just give them like a snippet, like small snippets of the album, just email it to them and let them know, or ask them what they think. And then they let you know whatever, and they talk about it on social media, about how exciting, if it is exciting, about how they feel about the album and whatnot. And just take that route. Like find people who are in that line of music, in your line of music, even your own fans. You can tell people by who. I wanted to go there.
I wanted to go there.
Yeah, like look for people who actually follow you on social media and get their email addresses or whatever, or even just have a listening party yourself, and not invite other artists, but invite actual fans to come and listen to your album.
Because you know what, the reason I always say that I'm not a fan of that, it's you can tell when a person doesn't have a feel of what they're talking about.
Yeah,
you can tell. How are you saying turn up? And you advertise, you what you call promoting, I'm like, it doesn't make sense.
And you tend to like see how
they're pushing numbers, forgetting if a person who's off-brand, if this person only listens to your Moonchild, like the local group, the international group of Moonchild, and you get them to advertise or to promote rather OMT, she's just gonna tweet that one song that she's told her to promote, right?
Yeah.
And she's going to move on with her life. But if you get a person who's genuinely a fan of OMT, that person is going to interact, right? Because maybe you might tweet about Umanando, then I reply, I'm like, yo, I heard that song. Then we start speaking. The more we speak, the impressions go high. And that's when people want to listen to the song.
Yeah.
Because, when you're tweeting about, you're not even promoting anything. You ask a group of people, guys, give me your top 5 best rappers locally. Look at the amount of interactions that tweets is going to get. Because that's what you'd love doing. That's who you are.
Yeah.
And now if a certain black lady comes to you and be like, yo, I'm dropping this, people are going to interact with you. They're going to say, I like Black Les or I don't. And this is the song, these are the songs that I like from him. So what does he have for us now? So it becomes a conversation, and you can tell when stuff is organic.
Yeah, you can, because I also wanted to get to that point where you're talking about, you can pretty much tell with how they tweet. I've seen it with a lot of events that are being promoted. You see people talking about a specific event and whatnot. And then on the day of the event, they are talking about something else. They've forgotten about the entire event. And you can tell this person has been talking about the event this entire time for the past 2 or whatever weeks. And then on the day of the event, they are talking about whatever it is that they're watching on Moja TV, on Moja Love or whatever. It has nothing to do with the event. You can tell that this person is not even there. But it's easy to tell by how people tweet. And even the tweets that look very generic. You can see that even the language sometimes, you can tell that this is not the person's, this is not the person, this is not how this person usually tweets. The way that they use the hashtags, just everything about it, it's quite easy to tell that this is a fake tweet. Yeah.
Yeah. And they don't have a problem with paid tweets, but they make it at least sound a little bit organic. That's why I'm still saying to this day, I'm mad at whoever handles the promo team or staff for Back to the City. Because we're the people who you started with Underneath That Bridge by Mary Fitzgerald. Now you're giving it to your influencers who only do makeup and hair. I mean, those people are not even going to be there on the day. Or they can't because they give them an VIP passes.
And the VIP passes is pretty much the only thing that brings them to the event.
Literally, because the few times I went to I went to a lot of Back to the Cities, a lot. And watch us not getting promos to Back to the Cities, but it's fine. We'll still go. You speak about the event before it happens. Naturally, on the day, you speak about it because you're going there.
Yeah.
When you speak about it because somebody's like, yo, I think I saw your tweet about this. Are you here? That's how I met who's the spoken priestess.
Yeah.
Because we're literally both tweeting throughout the day. And later on, she's like, nah, man. Are you still here? Because I saw you tweeting earlier. I'm like, I'm here. That's how we met, Like people who, like, no paid promo. We were genuinely tweeting about it because we were excited about Back to the City that day.
Yeah, it's something
and it's
that
not
you wanted
difficult to find people who are excited about an event. It's really not. You can tell. Like right now, if you ask me to pick 10 people locally who can promote Back to the City, I'll name drop in 5 seconds. I'll tell you 10 people right now,
Yeah.
Because I'm interested in that culture. So if you're interested in that AmaPiano culture and want to have an event for them too on Friday, even there, you know who is the best person to speak to about an AmaPiano event. So I'm like, why can't promoters, now I'm talking about on the bigger spectrum, you're Rashid and them, you're a field with. I know Rafil is the head, he probably doesn't deal with, I'm a promoter, right?
Yeah.
But whoever's head in the marketing, go to the right people, get your inflows to speak about this, get your Queen Azizas, get your Tassos to speak about this. There's so many people who are into the culture that you can get.
And we even talk about it, even though this is our platform, we are even willing to talk about it for free.
Do you understand?
Yeah. And that's because how much we love the culture and we love the event, because the event has opened so many doors. It has done so much for the hip-hop culture as in general, and it's something that we need to support. It's not something that we necessarily need to be paid to do, but it's something that we would love to do. It's something that we want to do. And that's just it. Like, just get people who love this thing, people who want to be there, to promote it.
Easy. Because what is it? The one before lockdown, 2019.
Yeah.
I legit had a schedule of all my favorite artists' performances, right? Before it was officially released. Because I was like, guys, I was working night shift the day before. And in the morning, I had to go do my nails, I had to go do my hair. Because I wasn't going to go looking crusty. But that's besides the point. But I'm like, I'm not going to make it before 6. There's no way. So I'm like, guys, please tell me, what time is LV performing? I would get answers from 10 timelines away, because somebody retweeted, like, actually, I know when he's performing. I'd ask, when is Zago performing? By the time I went to Back to the City, the only person I didn't know who to perform at what time was Big Zoo. Because apparently he was a headliner, but they didn't tell anyone that he was, But when I got there, because I legit got there just in time for Jesus' performance, and I saw everyone I wanted to see, because I was on the right timeline, speaking to the right people. So that my message went through to the right people who could give me the answers I wanted.
Yeah, and also speaking about the festivals, these events, this coming weekend is Cotton Fest.
Is it this one or the 24th?
What was the date? Isn't it not the 19th and 20th?
Really?
Yeah.
I think it was the 19th and 20th, the weekend when it was supposed to be in March. It was going to be from the 19th to the 21st. So this time around, I think it's on the 23rd and the 24th.
Oh yeah, so which means that it's the other weekend.
Yeah, the other weekend.
Yeah, I mean, speaking about these things, even though we haven't really seen anything, no big promos concerning this Cotton Fest, it's still a huge thing. We haven't seen much presence of it on social media, even though like the poster with all the performance has been released and whatever. But in terms of promotion and in terms of promotion from influencers and tweets, we haven't really seen much. But they do not need influencers talking about this thing because everyone wants to be there.
It goes back to the organic part of it all.
Yeah.
Because it caters for not just hip hop, which I thought it was a hip hop event at the beginning. When it first happened, I think it was
much more than that now.
Was it 2019, if I'm not mistaken, the first one that happened?
I think so.
2020, before COVID?
I think so.
Around
maybe 2018, 2019.
Initially, I thought it was a hip hop event initially because 90% of the lineup was hip hop artists.
Yeah.
Right. But now it's bigger than that. And I think that's what makes it as big as it is with regards to not even needing promo because it caters for everyone.
Yeah, because now I'm looking at the list here. You've got Lady Do will be there. You've got Gina the Rocker over there. You've got, because now I'm just looking randomly.
And they were not on the lineup initially.
Yeah, he was. A lot of these artists were not initially on the lineup. They were not, because we know the couple is going to be there. You've got who else? Who's this? Uncle Party Time.
Oh, Uncle Party Time.
Yeah, Uncle Party Time is also going to be there. Like, it's a huge list.
It's a huge deal.
It's a huge deal because even Cetril is going to be there. And it's just amazing with what the organizers are going to be doing with this event.
Like, literally everyone is going to be at the event. Like, I'm looking at the lineup right now. Guys, if you're not here, where are you? They're even bringing back Destruction Boys. and everyone is here.
And Squatter Camp is also going to be there. And it's unfortunate that Squatter Camp is going to be missing 2 of its members, but they're going to be performing there as well. Stogie T will be there as well.
Okay, Malume is there, Kamumpela is there, DJ Zandy, Dream Team, not Dream Team. They legit bring out everyone.
They're bringing everyone. I think
China is there, Miss Cosmo, McLaren, guys, I love McLaren.
And Heavy Game will be there as well.
Rap. I love hardcore rap, guys. So I feel like McLaren gives me that. McLaren raps.
Nah. Yeah, this is just going to be like a huge event. It's going to be a huge event. It's bigger than it's ever been before. And it's unfortunate. Yeah, it's unfortunate that Ricky won't be there. But this is going to be bigger than it's ever been before. And I only hope that it becomes bigger. I only hope that it becomes bigger because this is what South African hip hop needs in general. Even not just South African hip hop, but South African music, the festival scene. This is what it needs because we always hear about all these big events internationally, but we haven't had one that is internationally spoken about in South Africa. And I feel like Cotton Fest is going to be the one that does that.
Yeah, it should get to a point where now it becomes a multi-day event. You see how your Coachellas are?
Yeah.
You need to have something like that. It's going to be a multi-day where people are just performing from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, it's and I feel like if these guys, whoever is responsible for Cotton Fest now, if they can buy like a plot or something where they can have this entire event, I think over the years it's just going to be huge if they do it right.
But it depends where. Are they pulling a vibe, Bacardi, where it's in the middle of nowhere with tents and things, or how they're doing it? I think it would depend on that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but I feel like if they follow like a Coachella type thing, because I
Coachella
mean,
would work.
yeah, like if they can follow like a Coachella type a type thing, it would be like incredible. It would just be incredible.
And it brings people together, man, because I've seen how excited people are, from the artists to the fans to the organizers to the promoters. Everyone is just happy and looking forward to it.
Yeah, like I'm also looking forward to it, and hopefully, like the because I don't think I'll be able to make it this time around, but I'm just like, and, you know, the thing is that I've been looking at this poster the entire time, but what I didn't notice is that they've got so many artists on this poster, and then at the bottom they've written and many more.
And many more.
Like I really wish I could be able to see how they're going to fit everyone in like 2 days.
I think that's my thing with not going.
Yeah.
Right. I will even went back to the city using year like in 2019, even the years before that. If I don't get a certain tag, I don't go.
Yeah.
Because guys, I want to be unseen. I mean, I can't go. It gets overwhelmingly full. I'm like, I can't even move. I can't do it. Because even that back to the 2019 one, I was like, guys, my plan was I'm not going initially. Then I saw that Big Zulu were performing. I'm like, now I need to go.
Yeah.
But the VIP tags were out. I'm like, cool. I'm not going anymore. It's shy for me. I'm fine. And the Friday before, one of my friends who works for a certain newspaper, she was like, come through to the office. I got something for you. I'm like, sharp, I'm coming. Because I was going to work there, and she works in town. So I go to the office. I get there. She gives me like 2 media passes. I'm like, so now I have to wake up in the morning and do my hair and nails. That's my thing of a cotton face. I'm like, number one, 2000, and already they overwhelm me. Now I'm in the same section with them. I can't, guys. So I'll support it from far. You want me to promote it? I'll promote it for free. It's okay. You want me to speak about it? I'll speak about it. But if I don't get a media pass or a VIP tag, I'm sorry, I'm not going. I can't. And as I always say, I am willing to buy this VIP tags, right? But I'm not on my phone most of the time.
Yeah.
Right. And when these things come out, they sell out within like 5 minutes. And by the time I'm on my phone, it's time, you know?
Yeah.
So it's not like I want these free passes. I'm willing to spend money for them. I want to pay. But then they sold out. And by the time I get a chance to go to Complete Ticket or wherever they're selling them, there's only general passes.
Yeah, because most of the VIP and media passes are usually just given away for free. But VIP passes also, most of them are given away for free to.
And
like,
it's a limited number.
And it's a limited number, yeah. Yeah, which makes it very, very difficult. Z, we're almost at like 2 hours talking about this thing. And it takes me back to a few months ago. Actually, just a few weeks ago, when you were giving us the hip hop news, we only had like 20 minutes or something, and that was never enough. And now even 2 hours, even 2 hours isn't enough just talking about this. But yeah, I mean, we are definitely out of time. But just to give the viewers what to expect, can you tell them what they should be expecting over the next couple of weeks?
We're expecting a lot of this, me speaking and sounding amazing. I'm joking. On a serious note, we have a lot of interviews locally, internationally, within the continent. Because one thing about us, we aim to please, right? And we're focusing on music as a whole.
Yeah,
we're gonna bring in rappers, rappers, AmaPiano artists, Afro artists, R&B singers from England, right down to Ethiopia, you know, whatever you want. We'll
the entire world. And one thing we really focus on, as much as we bring you artists who are good and well-known and all that is great,
we want to bring you guys new artists.
Yeah.
People that you don't know yet, but people that you believe that are insanely good. People that you want to have on your playlist. You know that radio that Spotify creates for you? We want to give you those people. That radio must be full of brand new artists with a fresh new take on music in every genre, different vibes, different feels, and they're all good in their own right. From your jazz carriers to even I feel like as much as he's established now, I feel like Peter O still needs to be introduced to a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know? Give you Peter O, give you Blacklist, will give you a lot of people. You just need to look out for it. All these interviews are gonna come. We're here for them, and you should be here for them too.
Yeah, because a lot of people or a lot of platforms will tell you, would say they have the plug, and they're usually just talking about new music from big artists. But we are giving you new artists with a lot of these guys, especially international guys. These are guys that are going to be on international stages like your Grammys. They're going to be sharing the same stages as guys like J. Cole at some point, Kendrick, even Beyonce at some point. Like these guys, the people that we're going to be talking to, they're just so amazing. They're incredible at what they do. So we are just going to be plugging you guys with like incredible artists that you've never heard before, but it's music that you are going to fall in love with.
Definitely. And one thing about me, I'm a fan of new music. So I'm also a fan of plugging people because I believe I have amazing taste as well.
Yeah. You do. Yeah. You do have amazing taste. But yeah, anyway, that is it from us today from this episode. It was supposed to be an introductory episode, and I hope that it was a good one for you guys. But please subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you share this link. Make sure that you share this video. And stay tuned. Stay tuned to whatever we are going to give you, because I promise you, every episode is just going to be an amazing one. We're just going to be taking it to a whole new level.
And we promise they will not be as long as this one. This one was just us sharing our thoughts and being out there and introducing ourselves and how much we speak. But they will not be as long as this one.
They won't be as long as this one. This is just today. It's just today. Whatever, we're never going to do a video this long again. Hopefully. But yeah, we'll see. But anyway,
I like that you said hopefully, because things happen.
Yeah,
you might get an artist who likes to talk as much as we like to talk, and they want us to know a lot about them, and it will just go on,
on and on. Yeah, just going to be going on and on and on. But yeah, anyway, thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe. Please share this video. Please share the link. Share everything. Share on every platform. Share us everywhere. But until we are back again, thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.